The mysterious disappearance of Flight 19, the Bermuda Triangle, 1945. On December 5, 1945, 5 U.S. Navy Grumman TBM Avenger bombers took off from Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale in Florida. The day was clear, and the mission was a routine training exercise known as Navigation Problem No. 1, a simple practice flight over the Atlantic Ocean. Yet, by the end of the day, all 5 planes, along with their 14 crew members, would disappear without a trace. Their mysterious vanishing would fuel decades of speculation, theories, and stories surrounding the notorious Bermuda Triangle, an area already infamous for strange occurrences. A routine flight December 5, 1945. Flight 19 was led by 28-year-old Lieutenant Charles C. Taylor, an experienced pilot and combat veteran. Having served during World War II, Taylor had flown numerous missions in the Pacific Theater, making him a seasoned leader for this training exercise. Accompanying Taylor were 4 other planes, each piloted by young trainees with various levels of flying experience. Despite the pilot's inexperience, this mission was considered low risk, and Taylor's presence as the leader offered reassurance. The exercise was simple. The planes would fly east from Fort Lauderdale, practicing bombing runs over the Hens and Chickens shoals in the Bahamas, then turn north to navigate over Grand Bahama Island, and finally head southwest back to base. In total, the flight was expected to last about 3 hours. Sudden confusion. Radio transmissions reveal trouble. At around 2:10 p.m., the planes completed their bombing runs and began their northward leg of the mission. It wasn't long before problems started to arise. Just after 3 p.m., Lieutenant Taylor made his first report that something was wrong. In a series of increasingly alarming radio transmissions, Taylor explained that both of his compasses had failed, leaving him disoriented. This was an unusual situation for an experienced pilot like Taylor. He was convinced the squadron had somehow drifted west, over the Florida Keys, a chain of islands stretching southwest of Florida. However, Taylor's judgment was clouded by his previous experiences flying in the Pacific Ocean during the war. Believing the islands below were the Keys, Taylor assumed they were flying in the wrong direction. In reality, they were hundreds of miles off course, heading northeast over the open Atlantic Ocean, away from land. His misunderstanding would soon lead the entire squadron into grave danger. At 3:40 p.m., Taylor's voice came through the radio again, sounding more urgent. "We can't be sure where we are. We must have got lost after that last turn," he said. His confusion was shared by the rest of the squadron, who were following his lead. Taylor's command to fly east, thinking they would eventually hit the Florida coast, was a tragic error. Instead, they were flying deeper into the Atlantic. Desperation in the air, lost and disoriented. As the afternoon progressed, the situation worsened. A series of frantic radio transmissions captured the pilot's increasing sense of helplessness. One trainee, realizing they were in serious trouble, radioed, "If we just fly west, we would get home." But Taylor, still convinced they were over the Gulf of Mexico, overruled the suggestion. His decision was final. They would continue flying east. By now, daylight was fading, and the weather began to deteriorate. Strong winds and cloud cover started to obscure the horizon. Compasses were malfunctioning, and the pilots were flying blind. Without navigational aids or visibility, they had little chance of regaining their bearings. Around 6 p.m., Taylor radioed one final transmission: "All planes close up tight. We'll have to ditch unless landfall. When the first plane drops below 10 gallons, we all go down together." These were the last words ever heard from Flight 19. Soon after, radio contact was lost, and all 5 planes disappeared into the night. The rescue mission. A new mystery emerges. Within hours of losing contact with Flight 19, the Navy launched one of the largest search and rescue operations in history. Hundreds of ships, planes, and personnel scoured the waters off the coast of Florida, the Bahamas, and the open Atlantic. The search covered 250,000 square miles, but despite the enormous effort, no trace of the bombers or their crew was found. Adding to the mystery, a PBM Mariner flying boat dispatched to search for the missing squadron also disappeared. Known as flying gas tanks due to their susceptibility to fires, the Mariner's disappearance was puzzling. An explosion was reported by a nearby ship around the time the plane vanished, leading to speculation that it may have suffered a catastrophic failure. All 13 crew members aboard the Mariner were lost, compounding the tragedy. The Bermuda Triangle fact or fiction? The disappearance of Flight 19 solidified the myth of the Bermuda Triangle, a roughly triangular region spanning from Miami to Bermuda to Puerto Rico. Over the years, this area has been blamed for numerous unexplained disappearances of ships and planes. Some believe the triangle is subject to mysterious natural phenomena, such as magnetic anomalies, time warps, or underwater methane eruptions. Others have proposed more outlandish theories, such as alien abductions or secret government experiments. However, skeptics argue that the Bermuda Triangle is no more dangerous than any other heavily trafficked part of the ocean. They point to natural explanations such as human error, violent weather patterns, and mechanical failures as the true causes behind many of these disappearances. Theories behind the disappearance of Flight 19. Magnetic anomalies. One of the most popular theories is that Flight 19 encountered a magnetic anomaly in the Bermuda Triangle, which could have caused the compasses to malfunction. Magnetic variations can interfere with navigation instruments, and the triangle is known for having areas of unpredictable magnetic behavior. This could explain Lieutenant Taylor's confusion and the squadron's inability to find their way home. Weather conditions. Though the flight began under clear skies, weather can change rapidly over the Atlantic. It is possible that Flight 19 encountered sudden storms or turbulence, which made it difficult for the pilots to navigate visually. The combination of bad weather, nightfall, and low fuel reserves would have left the planes with little chance of survival. Pilot disorientation. Lieutenant Taylor's decision to keep flying east, despite his trainees' protests, suggests he was suffering from spatial disorientation. This condition can occur when pilots lose their sense of direction and are unable to determine which way is up or down. Without functional instruments, disorientation could have caused Taylor and the others to make fatal errors in judgment. Fuel exhaustion and ditching. Given Taylor's final transmission about fuel, it is likely that all 5 planes eventually ran out of fuel and were forced to ditch in the ocean. The Avenger bombers were built to withstand crash landings at sea, but the high swells and rough waters of the Atlantic would have made survival difficult. With no wreckage found, it is possible that the planes sank quickly, leaving no trace. A lingering mystery. Despite decades of investigation, the mystery of Flight 19 remains unsolved. No wreckage has ever been conclusively linked to the squadron, and the fate of the 14 men aboard continues to baffle experts. The disappearance of Flight 19 has become one of the defining cases associated with the Bermuda Triangle, fueling speculation, conspiracy theories, and myths. While many believe the true cause of their disappearance was likely a combination of mechanical failure, human error, and unfortunate circumstances, the case continues to capture the imagination of aviation enthusiasts and mystery lovers alike. The ocean, vast and unforgiving, has swallowed countless ships and planes over the centuries. Flight 19 is but one of the many unsolved mysteries lost to the deep, leaving behind only questions and the enduring enigma of the Bermuda Triangle.